keep me with some TV around one. You just test it out 2 days, but you're not fair use it well. Go back to your TV program, done. You have to keep me.
Ishmael, can you hear me? You can hear me, Ishmael?
I can hear you.
Oh, that's great. Good to good to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you for having me as well. Thank you.
Yes, it's a great pleasure. I mean, the Pan-African community and those of us in the diaspora, so grateful. I know you're a very busy person, and good to see that at least you can accord some of your precious time to look at issues pertaining the motherland, Mother Africa, and the diasporans. Grateful, grateful, grateful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be here.
Yes. So just give me about a couple of seconds, and then I'll introduce you, and then we can look at one or two. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Great, great. So, like I said, once again, live on Voice of London Television, Nana Osagyeo is the name, and lots of interesting stories has been coming through from our, or should I say, on our international news desk, and then also the African news desk. It's quite interesting to see how we can also inform, educate, and enlighten our people. Talking about those of us in the diaspora and those back home. This is your global leading Voice of London Television, the medium, the leading medium when it comes to current affairs programs. Let me go straight and welcome my learned colleague in the person of Ishmael Kaburi. Ishmael Kaburi, how are you? Can you hear me, Ishmael, now?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm very great. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
Great, great, great. Yeah, Ishmael, we are also grateful to have you. How was your day?
Yeah, my day was fantastic. Quite busy, but today, Saturday, was a relaxing day, but so far so good. Everything went well, so we thank God for that.
Great. And we are all experiencing this heat. I'm wondering where this is coming from. It's a different heat that we are all, everybody is complaining. The weather is hot. When the weather is cold, we are complaining. We get the heat, we are complaining. But this particular heat seems to be a bit different, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know, as a human being, we always, have something to say about, when it, like you said, when it's hot, we complain. When it's cold, we complain. So, yeah, but I'm not a very big fan of the heat anyway. That's why I run from Africa to the UK. So, but the heat is catching me up from here as well. So, yeah, but so far so good. So, this country is a cold country, so when we get some heat as well, it will be good. We don't need to travel. We go for holidays to get a vitamin D. So we're just getting the vitamin D by staying home in UK. So which is good. It's great.
Great. That's quite interesting, yes. Okay, so viewers across the global world, I'm speaking to Mr. Ishmael Kabori. Mr. Ishmael, have I got the name right? Is it Kabori or Kabor?
Yes, English people say Kabo, but we as African we say Kabore.
Okay.
You're
So,
pronouncing right. You're pronouncing very, very right. Yeah, it's Ishmael Kabore. Yeah.
yes, I think I'll prefer with the African one, the Kabori one.
Yes. Indeed.
yes. Right. So I'm speaking to my learned colleague Ishmael Kabori, or is it Ismail?
It's um, it's Ishmael. Um, what did I say? We call it Ismail. What Ishmael? But
Okay. Okay.
Ishmael is good, so it's Ishmael. Yeah. That's
Yes.
right.
Yes. Nice one. Yes. So I'm speaking to, as Ismail himself said, Ismail Kabori, one of our very own, and I'm so grateful to have for him to have accorded us his precious time. Ismail is a very, very busy person indeed. And of course, Ismail works in finance. And before we look at some of the headlines, news coming from our international news desk, and then I'll be dribbling my way to Mother Africa, and then we look at ways, me and Ismail will then look at ways on how we can improve the development of Mother Africa for all, brainstorming with issues. So that's what we're going to be doing. But before we continue, people would like to know from the horse's own mouth, Ismail, how would you describe yourself to our millions of viewers across the global world and also the motherland? Who is Ismail Kabori?
Yeah, Ishmael Kabore is a pure African man from West Africa. Moved to the UK some times ago, maybe about 20 years ago. Studied in the UK, and now I hold a position as a financial consultant, helping people protect themselves and their families, and especially Africans and the diaspora here. And yes, talking about the motherland, I am very connected with Africans and all African nations. So
Yes.
I think is that together we'll be able to move forward,
Yeah.
but not individually, but together. So I'm very, very connected with
Yes.
them.
Ismail, increase your volume a bit for me, yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yes. Much better now, Ismail.
Okay. I was just saying, Ishmael is somebody that moved to the UK sometimes ago, about 20 years ago. And I studied a little bit in the UK. I did some of my degree in the UK in the financial services. I also did a business management and leadership. And I'm now holding the position as a financial consultant, helping people to protect themselves in terms of insurances, mortgages. And I'm very, very connected to African nations. With some from West Africa, especially Burkina Faso. So yes, I'm very, very connected with the diaspora, and I think together that's the way we can move forward.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in individualism. I believe in Africa we come one and we move forward as a one person.
Beautiful. All right. So today we want to look at issues that is pertaining Africa, and then we'll arrange with you to have a one-on-one interview regarding your field of work and how we, together you can help the diasporians when it comes to insurance, mortgages, finance, and other aspects. Yeah. So at the end of the brief current affairs discussion, you can then once again echo the various helps that you can offer the diasporans and those back in the motherland. But for now, let's go straight and look at some of the headlines from the international world, because we like to keep our viewers very abreast with events it takes place across the global world quickly. And like I said, I'm grateful that today I've got my main man in the person of Mr. Kabore joining me. Grateful. Now, quickly, I would like to go straight once again and look at our international news desk. Yes, what is on there by our editors and stuff. Great. So, what is happening from the world? We have President of the United States, as we all know. He has been nominated. This is fascinating, for the Nobel Peace Prize, and this is a very interesting development. Now, I would like to look at it briefly. Aside that, the 12-day conflict between Israel and Iran, where Israel did a preemptive strike on Iran. That's an interesting headlines. So these are some of the headlines I'm actually reading out to you. When it comes to Spain, the Spanish Prime Minister has stood out against the European Council and says that he doesn't want to be a signatory to the escalations and also what is going on in Ukraine, where there's a signatory to say that Ukraine and the European Council together will hold Russia to aggression. So the Spanish Prime Minister didn't actually sign for such. We also have the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda signing long-awaited peace deal in Washington. So that's an interesting story there as well. A lot of people have raised some, eyebrows, saying that is this the signing of the resources of the Democratic Republic of Congo to the United States, with question marks there. Interesting story there. And so, and then let's quickly go straight to the African News Desk. Okay, you are watching Voice of London television. Don't forget to like, and you can also send me your comments, and then also subscribe and share, so that many a million can benefit from such a wonderful program. Okay, so let me continue with the African News Desk. Like I was speaking earlier, I said on our news desk, my reporters and editors, and the headline, okay, the Congo-Rwanda signatory in Washington, interesting. Everybody's talking about it. That's a very interesting one indeed. South African Police Intelligence Chief arrested over fraud allegations. That's a very powerful one. African countries taking corruption seriously. For a police chief in South Africa to be arrested based on corruption, that's an interesting one. So from our African News Desk, the chaos that is taking place in East Africa is also something that is interesting. Governments are uniting to silence dissent. Very serious there. Let me also go to Ethiopia. Joyful Ethiopians and Eritreans embrace at rare border reopening. We know Eritrea and Ethiopia have been at the loggerheads, and it's good to see that there's some peace coming true. Great, 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 great. Now let's go back to Ghana and see what is happening there. Yes, back in Ghana, the president has actually reinstated Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as the founder of Ghana on his birthday, the 1st of September. So Ghana will be celebrating that because the previous government did change the founders' celebration day, and this government has come and said it will not stand there or stay in power and allow the previous government's rewriting of history to continue. So that's an interesting one there. All right, so great. We are so grateful to have just tidbits from that part of the world. We also know there's an issue going on back in Ghana as well, where we have the president nominating 7 justices to the Supreme Court because the previous government had nominated 14, and they believe that they need to get some chief justices there to the Supreme Court to get the balance right. So this is quite an interesting things happening. Okay, so like Mr. Kabori said, that is from Burkina Faso, and whenever you hear Burkina Faso, the first thing that comes into our mind is that mighty man that is making a difference in Africa, Ibrahim Traoré. Mr. Kabori.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So interesting development, but I want us to just stick with just brief issues for our own personal interjections here so that the others can learn from what is going on. Now, let's quickly touch on just 1 or 2 from the international scene, and then we can go to our motherland and then bring the whole show to a halt as we continue with further episodes in the course of the week. So, this 12-day war that took place and the eventual peace, and then now we are hearing the nomination of the US president for the Nobel Peace Prize. Do you think the preemptive strike on Iran regarding the uranium, I want us to stay the subject matter, we don't want to digress too much, so we look at it from this angle briefly. Number 1, your take on the preemptive strike. You think it was a right strike, or they should have taken their time for the IAEA to finish their what they call inspections? Ishmael.
From my own point of view, I think it's any strike is not the best. And I think it's everything we should sit down and negotiate, because negotiations is possible for any sort of situation. Because when we talk, when we communicate, we will find a solution for everything we want to proceed. And I'm not supporting any strike to any sorts of countries. And I would think that the negotiations should be the best option. So at the end of the day, you strike or no, at the end of the day, you're going to finish by negotiating. But why not start from negotiating before? So that's my own view.
Yeah, that's absolutely, and I totally tend to agree with you, because after the Second World War, Winston Churchill said that it's better to jaw, right, than to, go fighting and get millions of people killed, So talking and having negotiation is the best way forward. Yes. So right after the preemptive strike, we've seen the exchanges of missiles back and forth. And we all know that, Israel has got a fortified defense system, and Iran had been able to penetrate it. And we saw the world, other side of the world, Russia, China, Pakistan, North Korea, backing Iran, and then we've seen the US and the European Union backing Israel. and some of these states, 9 of them, all have nuclear power. At one point, were you scared that the nuclear missiles could have been used and the global world, humanity could have come to an end? Did that cross your mind?
Yes, indeed, because when the powerful countries are fighting, every single person in this world have to very carefully, get scared because you never know what can happen. So you don't know who, the country that are controlling those nuclear powers and what can come to their mind, and any chance of things, anything can happen. So I was a little bit scared, but at the same time, I just realized that it's something come out of my mind saying that, okay, I don't think this will be the end of the world. I think we have a lot of things to do. I think the good people will come across so they can turn their mind and they can go to the table of negotiation.
Yes.
They have to talk to each other to try to resolve the problem, because fighting, it never solves any problem. I know the world is always talking about everybody, every country are fighting for their own interests, but we only have one common interest, which everybody need to live. And yes, based on that, and I believe that I was scared, but later on, I believe that, we will come to negotiation table and we will find a solution moving forward. So my fear was stopped from there.
Right. That's great. Okay, that's a very good one. And of course, great interactions on that. Now, let's look at Africa briefly. What I'll be doing is interjecting with Africa, or linking it with Africa. Let me put it that way. Yeah. Now, when you look at the powerful forces that was displayed just recently, with all these powers, why can't we Africans come together as, I know we have the African Union, which is toothless, I think. Maybe you might have a different view. Why can't the African Union, or, those that can make it happen, create this union, consolidate it, and get Africa to also become, in terms of defense, a very powerful continent? Have you thought of that before? Because it seems that Africa is a bit weak when it comes to defense, and we all cannot create our own defense stuff, and we need to be buying from the West and the East. Don't you think it's about time Africa will also look at these things and say that, hey, look, we were the first civilization in the world, you understand? And we brought civilization to even Europe. When you do that, you look at the research and the history of the Moors. So why can't we wise up and create a fortified defense in Africa? What is stopping us? Yeah.
Okay. My own contribution to that. Every time can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. I'm hearing you very well. Okay, there's a break there. We'll try and get Ishmael back on. Yeah, Ishmael, you've gone off. No, you are still on.
We not get united enough. When we have about 54 countries, correct me if I'm wrong.
Ishmael,
about 54 countries.
Ishmael, your phone went off a bit, so come again from the yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's better now.
I'm just saying, I was trying to say that my own contribution to that would be is every time I think about what's going on in the world, I feel very, very sad for Africa, because as of 54 countries, if we decide to come together, we will be very powerful. So like you mentioned, so put one army together, have one currency together, open the market, will be very, very powerful in the eyes of the world. But because we have a system of individualism system, so that is dividing us And it's so sad that we cannot come together and try to see what can we become, because together we are very strong and the rest of the world will respect Africa more. But
Yes.
the way we are doing today, everybody in his own corner, divided by the West, and we cannot win when we are divided. We only win if we are together, when we can speak the same language and be able to have the same vision. And I think if we can do that, Africa will be the best forever. But if we keep saying that, okay, we gonna have our own vision, individualism ways, so it's gonna be very, very, very hard, and there's a long way to go. The world, I understand. Look at United States of America. So they put things together. Many states. That's why they are very powerful. Look at China. So many countries like that. So Africa need to come together. Let's leave our egos. Let's talk together. Let's sit down on the same table. Let's put in for better for the next generation. Because what I'm trying to say today, if we don't think about getting together, same thing we are facing today, we're going to face the same problems in 100 years to come. So the earlier we do things better, the better it can be. So my advice to all African nation and all people that listen to the diaspora people that listen to this program tonight, let's talk together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's sit together. Let's have a very profound conversation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about our leaders. Our leaders need to realize that let them talk about the power. Let's put African together and we will be very strong. But when we are not together, individualism, we're never going to get anywhere. And that we are punished, we are doing bad to our next generation. And I think it's a time for us to think about moving forward. And that moving forward is being together.
Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. Now, let's look at the good work your country's head of state is doing now in the person of Ibrahim Traore, who has taken the whole global world by storm. And every youth, the support in his recent visits to Ghana, when Ghana just ended their general elections, he had an uproar. Amazing. And, the support this man has got. Why do you think the whole African youth, they see him as the new Sankara, the new Kwame Nkrumah, the new Patrice Lumumba, the hope for the future? And why is the AU, African Union, being a stumbling block in pushing through some of Traore's bravery?
Okay, to answer to that question is very, very simple. Everybody needs to understand that African youth are more wake up now, because African youth are more interested in what's going on in the world. African youth wanted to develop their own continent. African youth understand that Africa have everything to be prosperous. Africa, you'd understand that African is the best. We have the best weather. We have a lot of resources. Every each country in Africa have something to contribute. So Africa, you understood it's time for them to raise up, to speak louder, so things can change. So that's the reason why Traore got a lot of support, because remember Traore, as a president and his aides as well, a part of those youth that believe in the change, having a vision for the continent. And that's the reason why Traore have a lot of supporters, especially the youth across the Africans. No, I want to even say across the globes. So the leadership of Traore today is yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, the leadership of Traore today is the leadership of the youth Africans.
Yes.
So yes, the youth Africans. So, well, I'm trying to see today is about other leaders who come around. So let's support him because remember the youth. Yeah, we are the youth. The youth are trying to change things, but the leaders need to support the vision. If the leaders support the vision and they come together, we're able to win. But remember, you mentioned something very important about Thomas Sankara. So remember when Thomas Sankara came, he was a very young captain. He had a very profound leadership, very profound vision for African. He wanted all African to come together so that we become better. But unfortunately, that time, I think Sankara came very, very early, and African youth was not the way they are today. That's what happened to Sankara. I don't want to go back to that. But today, we have a vision. We have a people that, like Traore said, okay, you know what? We can make it. We can make it. But he cannot make it by himself.
Yeah.
He needed people to back him up.
Yeah.
Because if we don't back him up, it's going to be very difficult. We're going to see something like Sankara again. We're going to see something like, we have a leadership in Africa that wanted to do a lot of things like Patrice Lumumba, like Kwame Nkrumah, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But and then, unfortunately, he didn't succeed because the understanding of the youth that time were in different way. But today we have everything in our hands. We have everything in our hands.
Sure.
The youth have everything in our hands. It's a youth now. Each country, you need to push their leaders to go to the right direction. We to come together and to see how African gonna move forward. Because it's our time. If we don't take this opportunity today, we're gonna regret it forever. We're gonna regret it forever. Because we have a leadership that, like Traore is saying, listen, Africa, we have everything. We cannot be manipulated anymore.
Sure.
The youth are very intelligent. They went to top schools. They know what to do. They have a very vision for the continent.
Yeah.
So why can we try this time to come together to do things better? And if we don't do it, it's going to be forever. Because remember, China are progressing with technologies. American want to keep the power. European are flying. What we African are we doing? So we have all the raw materials. We have all the resources. And it's time for us to think about the resource we have. Let's use our brain together. Let's have a vision for developing Africa. That's what Traore tried to do. One thing was someone to mention here, very important.
Yeah.
He mentioned something about agriculture.
Yeah.
And he said agriculture is the way of developing a country. Because if you are hungry, it's no time to think. The only thing you have in mind is to get food to eat.
True.
But when you're full, you now can try to say, okay, moving forward to do some research, how to develop, how to do things, how to move forward. Let's put a lot of energy on our agriculture. That's why he came and bought a lot of machines to share with the farmers so that the country can be able to produce enough food for the country.
Yeah.
And with that, the development comes from when you are full, not just when you are hungry. Let's start from there. And that's a very, very good point of starting.
That's a brilliant point. The last point you made about the agricultural bit, because when we have the food baskets in Africa, God has blessed Africa with affable lands, arable lands, and all that. Arable lands, yeah. Anything you throw on the floor can grow even at your own backyard. So how can Africa be starving? I heard last week in Kenya, just because America stopped the USAID cut off those USAID, they use small monies they used to send to Africa. Kenya, some parts of Kenya are struggling because of the USAID in terms of food, and they couldn't feed some of these refugees in Kenya. And I found it very disheartening because if you look at the land, it's not like European weather where you have 4 different weathers. You've got the, summer, you've got the autumn, you've got the winter, you've got the spring. And, when some of this weather comes, all leaves tear apart, turns to yellow, it falls off all trees, and they have a lot of food with reserves for over 5-10 years. What are we Africans doing? So Ibrahim Traore has hit the nail on the head, and I totally agree with you, Sir Kabore, that should be the first thing. And you know what I thought about as well? That all these, let's say, furnitures and the beds, where they polish them to make them look unique, and this other manufacturings, and if we can do all that in Africa. Look at Congo. They've got this coltan. This coltan is what they use to manufacture our televisions and remote controls and cameras and computers and everything. So we are sitting on a wealth of resources, but leadership, like you said, is what Africa is lacking. Kwame Nkrumah said something, that Africa is not poor, it's the people that have been made poor. And we thank God at least for the life of Ibrahim and the way he has actually ignited the youth of Africa. I've never seen it before. So, where do you think Ibrahim got that from, Ishmael? Ishmael, you there? Okay, we can see Ishmael is muted. When he comes in, we'll get him to elaborate on that. So basically, like we said,
I think is a pure African, believe in African. It's somebody that believe in Africa. It's somebody that believe in the land of Africa. It's somebody that believe in the youth of Africa. And
yes, I think Kabure's network is playing up a bit. I'm sure when the network improves, you will rejoin. Yes. All right. So
all the time, because she's always there. Why all the time? Everybody, the answer to that is let's work together. Let's believe we can do it. Let's have the same vision. Yeah. That's the way we can come up with. So where they get it.
The phone system is cutting now and then. Oh dear. Anyway, Kabore will rejoin as soon as he gets a good network as the show continues.
Nobody will come and develop your country for you. Nobody will come and develop your continent for you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Sankara used to say the same thing. Nobody will leave their own continent and come and develop your continent for you. Yeah. You have to stand up and develop your continent. So that's the vision Ibrahim have, and it's the best vision for everybody as a youth African to have. But I want to elaborate something, if you can hear me.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate something by saying African leaders as well. We have a lot of diasporas across the globe that are doing very fantastic in terms of technology, in terms of medicine, in terms of any financial services or anything. But those diaspora don't have a chance when they come back to the continent. They want to go and help to develop their continent as well. But the doors are always closed for them because they see them that they know a lot. They see them that, that's not the way it works in the air. So we are not from nowhere. We're from the same continent, even though we've been in Europe for some times. But we have the knowledge that we can contribute for the development of Africa. Every single leader should think about welcoming the diaspora, not just for them to say, oh, come and do what you have to do, but opening the door for them. Any investment or any opportunity that you want to introduce to them, so the diaspora as well can give their own contribution.
Right.
Because what we see as a diaspora, maybe the people back home don't see the same thing. And we think together we can elevate Africa. So every single person now coming from Africa, wherever you are in US, wherever you are in any part of the world, you have your part to contribute for the African development. So it would be good for the leader to think about that and start welcoming the diaspora with open arms.
Great. That's a power. And you know that what that resource from the diaspora, African diasporans going to Africa, that human resource alone can turn Africa overnight. And for African development and prosperous. Yes, so interesting. Yeah. One last take, and then we can bring the show to a close. And then definitely, when in the course of the week, I'm sure whenever Sir Kabore is free, we'll call upon him, and then we can have another great chat. Let's look at one of the most famous presidents that led Africa, led the Sub-Saharan Africa to get the first independence for Africa, which is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. May his soul rest in perfect peace. The previous government who lost elections changed the Founders' Day, and this was a big issue in Ghana. Just last week, the new government that came into power has reversed it through Parliament, and so it's going to be difficult for anybody to change that. I made, you know, the opposition and all the hula baloo. So it goes to show, like you said earlier, that we need to unite, and we don't have to create divisions among ourselves to spite our own self. We've got enough resources. We've got enough arable land. We have the men with the brains, both in Africa and across the diaspora. Nothing is stopping us. And I pray that we can jaw, like Winston Churchill said, and not allow ourselves to be used, or the principle of divide and rule to be used upon us to keep us being divided all the time. So it's been a great pleasure talking to you, Sir Kabore, and we are so grateful. Now, before you actually go, can you let our viewers once again know what you do offer in line with your work and area of discipline in the financial world, insurance, finance, mortgages, and things? Sir Kabore.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity this evening. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Ishmael Kabore. I am into financial service for the decade. So because I've been working for the financial service for the last 10 years, I'm based in London, and especially in Canary Wharf for those people that are not London. So what service did I offer? I offer any sort of insurance, which is come from life insurance, critical illness, income protection, accident cover, hospitalization cover, global treatment, and home insurance, contents insurance, business insurance. I can go to company and cover all their stuff. Doesn't matter how many number of the staff you have, I can cover all of them. And also, we do mortgages from A to Z. For those people thinking going to the mortgage ladder and they are scared of situation, we can help them. And we can also help to create a private pension. And this is what these are the services that I provide. So I provide face-to-face meeting, I provide Zoom meeting or telephone conversation. So, I just wanted to add something. Based on what people think, we also have our own people in this financial service that can give a comprehensive advice. So when you have people among you, those people like myself will be able to break down for any situation for you to understand it. Because sometimes some of our people that just go and take anything, they don't understand it. But it's not just about paying, it's about when they come also to claims. So we recommend and we make sure people get the right information and they can take the decision by themselves. So on the diaspora here, based in the UK, we only advise people in the UK. And feel free in any situation. So let's have a conversation and let's take it the conversation forward. And the main thing about our advice is to make sure you understand it and before you take action. So that's for me for now.
Thank you so much, Sir Kabore, a financial expert, insurance. We had him this evening, and we just had a brief interactions regarding a few stories and headlines coming from the Diaspora International Desk, and then the mother of all mothers, that is Mother Africa. It's been a great pleasure, Sir Kabore. We are so grateful to you and the diaspora and the Pan-African and the Africans all love you to the maximum. And so I'm promising my viewers we'll plan to have Sir Kabore once on again. This time the whole program will be based on the business and the help that they offer the communities who want to take up insurance, want to take up mortgages, want to take up any financial assistance in any field, like he said. So make sure you always subscribe to this channel, Voice of London Television, with our sister station, Voice of London Radio, and of course the Pan-African Voice News, Digital News Magazine, so that you don't miss out on what we offer at this particular channel and platform. Once again, any final words, Sir Kabore?
Yes, my final word would be, I would like to thank you for your amazing soul, for giving that right message to the diaspora, waking up the diaspora. So it's very, 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 very important. So Thank you so much for your hard work. I know it's not easy, but passing the right message is always beneficial to everyone. So keep going, and I would love everybody to support this channel because it's a very, very good channel. You have to subscribe it, you have to view it, you have to share it. It's very, very important. This message needs to go everywhere. So that's the message I can say. And thank you again for the opportunity tonight.
And it's been a great pleasure. God bless you so much, Sir Kabore, and bye-bye. Okay, so that was Sir Kabore. And this is where we bring the whole show to a close. It's been a great pleasure. We thank once again Sir Kabore and all you, the viewers, around the four corners of the global world. And we look forward in seeing you once again. Bye-bye.
Bye.